So I was gonna wait and film this reaction until the deluxe tracks for Guts dropped, but I can't. And I also probably won't be able to go on TikTok without hearing spoilers, so what's the point in even trying to wait? I was a big fan of Olivia's Sour album. I remember hearing Driver's License for the first time. My little sister Ruby was like, have you heard this song? It's actually so good. And I was like, let me hear it. And it was so good, as the world now knows. It's crazy that that album is her debut. It's just, how? Like how? Given that Sour was her debut and she reached such unfathomable success, I can imagine it was really scary going into her sophomore album because you have so much to live up to and you're still in like the early stages of your career despite being so successful. I love the cover of this album. I think a lot of people were confused or I guess shocked or just they didn't expect it to also be purple. I think that the dark purple is a statement. I think that having her first album be light purple and knowing that much of her first album is about very much teen heartbreak, having the dark purple and knowing that in real life she's kind of growing up. There's a big difference between 17 and 19. Like you grow up so much in those years and it just makes sense to me that her life is still purple in this moment, just a little darker. And then as far as the two songs that we've heard so far, I've heard Vampire and I have heard Bad Idea, right? I will be listening to them when we get to them in the album. I want to hear how they fit into the album as a whole, and I will talk more about what I think of those songs when we get to them in the reaction. If you would like to watch my full album reaction, my uncut footage is available below on my Patreon. It's a great way to help out the channel and get some fun bonus content. But if you would rather watch my edited reaction here on YouTube, that is totally fine. And let's get into Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Let's get into track 1, the opening track, All American Bitch. This is immediately not what I was expecting to hear.
I am light as a feather and as stiff as a board. I pay attention to things that most people ignore.
It's pretty vocals.
I am built like a mother and a total machine.
Okay, an enigma. And the harmonies. Ooh, and the drums are about to drop. Okay, this is cute because it's like she's introducing herself to us all over again, and it makes sense. All American. I love it. Sounds so sweet, and the fact that we know it's called All American Bitch just makes this sweet start to the song so much better. But I don't know, maybe it's not as sweet as it sounds because her voice just sounds so delicate and beautiful that if you don't pay attention to the lyrics, it's like you could just get swept up in the sunshine part that she's singing about, but she's singing about a lot of darkness here too. This line sticks out. I'm all right with the movies that make jokes about senseless cruelty. Yeah. We do that. A lot of us do that, don't we? And when you sit back and think about it, like what we laugh at, you might think, yeah, we should definitely be in therapy. This too, I'm built like a mother and a total machine. When you think mother, you think like someone who's caring and kind and gentle, but then a total machine is absolutely emotionless. I get that a lot. I get that a lot because a lot of the time people are boxed into one or the other, but it's very, very possible to be both, and it's cool that she's pointing that out. Again, this kind of goes along with that movie line about the jokes that she laughs at is, I make light of the darkness. And then we have a little Natasha Bedingfield moment, pocket full of sunshine, but you know, she has her all-American bitch twist on it. I've got sun in my motherfucking pocket. 2000s, we're in the 2000s again. Okay. That was a quick chorus. Oh. This is so fun and so 2000s. Oh. There it is. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that at the end? Oh, it goes right into, that is so interesting. That goes right into Bad Idea, right? Really perfectly. Look who it is at the end. Daniel Nigro and Olivia Rodrigo. Our power duo is back. I love the production of the song, not only because it's so 2000s and I'm here for like the resurrection of 2000s music. I also love it because what she's singing about is the enigma that is her and that is America. And that is the environment that raised her and made her become the person that she is. She's singing about how there's so many different things to her, very polar opposites that somehow still make up who she is. And so like the polar opposite sounds in this song to match the polar opposite things that she's singing about, and they're made to mesh perfectly. Like we have this wild like rock tempo and it strips back to this little guitar, and it just makes sense because that's her. I feel like a lot of, even like her first album, it's so cool because her first album, like half the songs were her and her guitar singer songwriter vibes, and then the other half was like very much rocker girl. And it's cool that she managed to fit those two sounds into the same song. I don't know if I've ever heard something like that before. It's really, really cool. I also really love this line. I know my age and I act like it. That's so cool. Coming from someone young, like that's so cool because you're constantly, when you're younger, you're constantly acting older for whatever reason. I want girls everywhere to scream that because it's a fun message to send out. Also, this line, the Coca-Cola bottles that I only use to curl my hair. I just love the visuals of that, but also the way she sang Coca-Cola. This is a perfect song, I think, to open up the album, and especially to then lead right into Bad Idea, Right? I remember when I first heard it, I heard a snippet of the section where it goes, seeing you tonight, it's a bad idea, right? And then that gets repeated. I heard a snippet of just that, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I was one of those people where I was like, I don't know. I think it was the repetition of it and like the dramatic whine that I just didn't understand until I heard it with the rest of the song. And then I was like, oh, it fits the vibe of the song perfectly. And now it grew on me super fast. It grew on me within a first listen. So it didn't really grow on me. I just needed to hear the whole song to get it, and I got it immediately, and I love this song. One random thing about this song is I prefer the part where she goes, fuck it, it's fine. I actually prefer the clean version where she says whatever, it's fine, because whatever is like such a 2000s word, and I feel like the whatever, it's fine fits the song even better. But then I don't listen to the clean version because I don't want all the other like clean stuff to be in the song. I just want that one part to be whatever. I don't want to miss the other swears, so fuck it, it's fine. I listened to the explicit version. But yeah, let's give this one a listen. I love in the music video how they're going like this. It's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight. It's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight. Fuck it, it's fine. Yes, I know that he's my ex. I only see him as a friend. Just tripped and fell into his bed. I'm getting in the car, wrecking all my plans. I know I should stop, but I can't. I love, that's my favorite part of the whole song, is that I know I should stop, but I can't. This is one of my favorite things that like musicians do in their music, is when they sing something and then it matches with the production. So like whatever they're singing about it happens also in the production. Other examples of it would be Dress by Taylor Swift, when she goes, say my name and everything just stops, and then all the production on the song stops. Love that moment. It happens in Nonsense by Sabrina Carpenter, where she says, she literally sings, feels so good I had to jump the octave, and then the octave jumps and she continues singing. It's so fun when artists do that. And my favorite example of that is this moment in Bad Idea, Right? Because it doesn't even just sound great because she says, I know I should stop, production stops, and then it comes back. It's not even just great because of that. It's great because of what she's literally saying, where she goes, I know I should stop. And then the pause in music, to me, is basically her really stopping and thinking about whether she should take up her own advice. But then she's like, but I can't. And then it goes on. And it just is the perfect thing. It's the perfect thing. I love it. I think the verses on this track are my favorite thing about it. They're so fun. The lyrics are so fun, and it's so fun to sing. But then I also love the my brain goes because, listen, I just love this whole song, actually. So let's continue, shall we? I'm sure I've seen much hotter men, but I really can't remember when. Everyone loves that too. I should probably not. I should probably. That's my other favorite part, the probably not. And then we have the rock edge through this part. This song is so, oh yeah, this is fun. This bridge is so fun. I love an instrumental bridge, and this is like maybe the most interesting instrumental bridge I've ever heard. It's so weird in the perfect way. But what I was saying is this song is so cheeky. That's what I love about it. It's just so tongue-in-cheek, and it's so like, I know it's not a good idea. I know it's a bad idea, but let me just keep singing and nodding and smiling and waving. I would say going into this album, hearing Bad Idea Right and hearing Vampire, Bad Idea Right was my favorite out of the two. But Vampire, I think, is like her best vocal performance ever. Like, it's insane, the notes that she hits on this track and how effortless and beautiful they are. Like, her voice on this track is just ridiculous. I think it's smart that she released those two songs leading up because they're two very different vibes, but then one, I mean, Bad Idea Right, she's barely even singing in it. She's doing things with her voice and it sounds really cool and great, but it's not the vocals that Vampire is giving, but that's not what that song's about. You know, Vampire is very much about the vocals, I think, and the vocals are the strongest part of it. There are some like lyrics that aren't my favorite. I would just say Vampire isn't my favorite lyrically. I feel like people could argue against that really easily. It's just a personal preference, but I haven't listened to the song a lot since it was released, but I think it was either the pre-chorus or chorus that wasn't my favorite. Production, again, great. I love the melodies in this are very fresh and exciting to the ear. But anyways.
How's the castle built of people you pretend to care about just what you wanted? Look at you, cool guy, got
She's so great at putting emotion into her vocal performances too. But now here, this part isn't my favorite lyrically. I don't know why. It is catchy though. And this lyric specifically I like. You only come out at night is so clever. Her vocals. I love the concept of this song too, and then we pick it up here. I like the production pickup. And then in her voice, you can hear it's coming from sadness and going more into anger. It's so good, the vocal performance. It's like you almost forget this started just her on the piano. The build-up is perfect.
Like a goddamn vampire.
The scream here. I love that. You know what? I think the bridge there is not my favorite lyrically, and the pre-chorus, this part is not my favorite lyrically, but then the other, like the verses and the chorus, I love lyrically, so it's like weird for me. The song overall definitely weighs more on pros than cons for me though. All right, next up is Lacy.
Lacy, oh Lacy, skin like puff pastry. Aren't you the sweetest thing on this side of hell? Did I ever tell you that I'm not doing well? Ooh, I care, I care, I care. Like perfume that you wear, I linger all the time. The sweetest torture one could bear. I feel your compliments like bullets on skin. Well, aren't you the greatest thing to ever exist? Ooh, I care, I care, I care. Like ribbons in your hair, my stomach's all in.
Oh, I love these lyrics.
One thing that I want, it's like you're made of angel dust.
These harmonies. Oh my god. It's like almost mournful too. This is like kind of an I wish I was her type of song.
Lacy, oh Lacy, it's like you're out to get me.
Oof.
You poison every little thing that I do. I just loathe you lately.
These,
And I
the way she's
despise
singing.
my jealous eyes. eyes and how hard they fell for you.
We can all relate to this song. We can all relate. There's always that one where you're like, oh, I wish I was them. Like if I was her, life would just be better. These were really beautiful lyrics. Aren't you the sweetest thing on this side of hell? God, you know what? It even like after listening to the song in full, even looking at that lyric, it's like clearly she's struggling and she feels like she's in hell. But Lacy never appears that way. Lacy always looks like angel dust. And I love this I care. It's almost like I care too much. She's repeating it like I care, I care, I care. Repeating it like that feels like I care too much. I'm fixated on you. And then the I try, I think, is her being like, I try to like not care. I try to be my own person and not think what would life be like if I were you, and try to even get to the point where I'm copying the things that you do, but she can't help it. Might be my favorite lyric out of this one. I feel your compliments like bullets on skin. And then at the end of the song, it turns almost into hatred. Like she's obsessed with this girl. You poison every little thing I do. Like I can't do one thing without thinking of you. Like what would Lacy do? Next up is Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl. Look, I wasn't homeschooled, so what are us like public school people gonna think of this song? Ooh. When you say ballad, Olivia, this is not what I'm thinking, but okay, here we go. I love this vocal effect.
And I don't think I get along with anyone. I'm on the outside with the greatest inside joke. Feels like my skin doesn't fit right over my bones.
Oh, that lyric.
The party's done and I'm no fun. I know.
Oh. This poor girl. Listen, this is the ballad of all the girlies with social anxiety. That's what this is. I get it. I totally get it. But I mean, I also understand that a lot of like homeschooled people do have more like social anxiety probably than others, because they're not used to having to like interact with others as much as people who are thrown into the public school system. So it makes sense. The title makes sense now. And I love this song. This is my favorite right off the bat so far. I'm on the outside of the greatest inside joke. That's such a simple but very devastating lyric. And this one feels like my skin doesn't fit right over my bones. How? That's one of those lyrics where I'm like, how did you come up with that? Because yes, that is how I feel. Like nothing looks right. And then not even just that, like it's not that I'm like worried about how I look. It's that I just don't feel comfortable in my own skin when I'm being perceived by other people. The party's done and I'm no fun. I know. The way that she repeats, I know, it's like, it's not even like she's being awkward and weird and is totally oblivious. It's the fact that she knows she's like this and she's like, yeah, sorry. Anyways, I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep because I can't stand it here. The being self-aware, but also just not being able to keep yourself from being awkward. It's so real.
Laughs the wrong time, sat with the wrong guy. Searched on how to start a conversation on a website. Talked to the top guy, swore I was his type. Guess that he was making out with boys at the whole Everything to do is tragic. Every guy I like is gay. The morning after I panic. Oh God, what did I say? Each time I step outside, it's social suicide.
This is like a headbanger song, but also a sway song, and I love that. Every day, it's social suicide, girl. Yeah. If we could die from embarrassment and awkwardness, whew. She said, can't think of a third line. Oh my God, I loved it. I love it. No, this is my favorite one so far. So good. She really said, can't think of a third line. Sorry. See, I told you, I can't do nothing right. Thought your mom was your wife. Wow, girl. I would love if these were like real things. But it's probably like just creative fun. I feel like this is going to be a fan favorite. I'm going to call this one as a fan favorite because everyone is like this. Like everyone is just like so socially awkward. I feel like we're gonna get to a point one day where just social, well, we already almost are at that point where like social awkwardness is just the norm and it's like not a big deal. I don't know. I feel like if someone's socially awkward these days, people are just like, it's cool. Like you don't really get judged for it as much, thank God, but it's still embarrassing for the person, you know? We had like this stripped back chorus, right? And then we had a little break. She's been loving herself like just an instrumental bridge. It's very interesting. I'm kind of loving it. Next up is making the bed. Are we outside or are we in a spaceship? Oh my goodness.
Want it so I got it, did it so it's done. Another thing I ruined, I used to do for fun. Another piece of plastic, another day pretending I'm older than I am. Another perfect moment that doesn't feel like mine. Another thing I forced to be a sign.
We have a lot to unpack here. Oh my goodness. Are these two going together? Another thing I ruined I used to do for fun. Like she used to just jump into things and it's like she felt like she kind of, is it like a self-sabotage type of thing? This part stands out. Another day pretending I'm older than I am, because of course I praised the line in All American Bitch where she's like, I act my age. But then here she is confessing that she was acting older. So I imagine this song came first in like her songwriting process before she came to the idea that she just wants to act her age and like live in the moment, right? Instead of trying to constantly be older, because so many of us do that when we're younger to usually try to please somebody. Another perfect moment that doesn't feel like mine. That is called disassociation.
Sometimes I feel like I don't wanna be where I am, getting drunk at a club with my fair-weather friends, push away all the people who know me the best. But it's me who's been making the bed. I'm so tired of being the girl that I am. Every good thing is turned into something I dread, and I'm playing the victim so well in my head. But it's me who's been making the bed.
How does she come up with these concepts?
Pull the sheets over my head.
Love this concept for a song. And it's so self-aware and vulnerable, which makes it hit so much harder. I'm playing the victim so well in my head. That's the thing. Like sometimes people really get called out left and right as playing the victim these days. And I mean, there's people that do that because they want sympathy or whatever, but then there's the other section of people who are fooling themselves when they're playing the victim, that don't even realize they're doing it, that are doing it to just cope and get through the mess that they've gotten themselves into. I think that's totally normal and valid. And her pointing that out, that she does her best sometimes to play the victim in her head because she doesn't want to face what she's done. And then also following it up with, but I'm the one who's making the bed, and coming to terms with that is really, really strong. I think this is a cool concept.
Every night I wake up, it's one recurring dream. I'm driving through the city, the brakes go out on me.
I have that intrusive thought so many times when I'm driving. I'm like, especially because I have this hill that I go down where at the bottom of the hill there's this huge lake, and I'm like, one of these days the brakes are just not going to work and I'm going to drive right into this lake and I'm going to die. Anyways.
Red light, can't swerve off the road. I read somewhere it's 'cause my life feels so out of control.
We all are Googling our dreams.
They're changing my machinery, and I just let it happen. I got the things I wanted, it's just not what I imagined.
Wow, this one is full of good stuff. This one's intense. I tell someone I love them just as a distraction. That's sad. They're changing my machinery and I just let it happen. I feel like so many people can relate to that, because so many people like are afraid of confrontation and afraid of, I don't know, that's very much like a people pleaser mentality, I think, when you allow someone to change you, because at the end of the day, you just think it's easier to let them see what they want to see rather than have that confrontation. And it's so sad because it's like we also have to place a lot of responsibility on the person who's trying to change you. Like, yeah, maybe you let it happen, but why are they trying to change you in the first place? We got to remember that too, girl. It's not all you. This one is sad because it just feels like she's being really hard on herself, but like I totally get it because I've had a lot of these thoughts too.
Push away all the people who know me the best. But it's me who's been making the bed. But it's me who's been making the bed.
And the cracks in her voice. And people hate voice cracks in songs, but I love it. And another instrumental bridge. I can get lost in them all day. Keep giving them to me. Oh, it makes so much sense to strip it back here for the end. I hope it stays stripped back all the way to the end.
Pull the sheets over my head, making a bed.
And it's so cool. This lyric is so cool because it says so much. Pull the sheets over my head, making the bed. So obviously we have like the analogy she's making of her making the bed is her saying like it's her fault. She feels like it's her fault that she gets into these situations that she's in, and it's not always the other person that dragged her into it. Like she's putting a lot of the blame on her too for being where she's at. But then also pairing it with pull the sheets over my head, when you like that imagery, pulling the sheets over your head is just like wanting to disappear from the world, not wanting to face yourself or anybody else. And so it's like this constant struggle that we hear her sing about through the whole song, where she's like, I tried to play the victim, but it's me making the bed. I tried to do this, but it's this. And she's like struggling a lot internally in this song, and pulling the sheets over my head, making the bed is just... It's a perfect way to say, like, I'm self-aware that it's my fault, but I don't want to deal with it today. This one is really, really rich in lyrics and really beautiful. And so I love when she goes into that. There must be a word for this tone that she does.
Pull the sheets over my head.
Is that called a head voice? Her head voice is beautiful. If that's not what that's called, I sound like an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. But she sounds so beautiful and delicate when she goes up into that range, and it adds so much emotion whenever she uses it. Next up we have track 7, Logical. A lot of these are starting out with piano or guitar, but they're not fooling me. I don't know what the song is going to be by the time it ends. You never know with Olivia.
God, you're so good at what you do. Come for me like a savior. I'd put myself through hell for you. Hear all the rumors lately that you always deny.
Wonderful. We got a cheater on our hands. Is that what's about to happen?
Now the current's stronger. No, I couldn't get out if I tried, but you convinced me, baby. It was all in my mind. Now you got me thinking 2 + 2 = 5, and I'm the love of your life. 'Cause if rain don't pour and sun don't shine, then changing you is possible. No, love is never logical.
You're kidding. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I kind of want this one to stay a piano ballad. It's too beautiful. I'm sure if it doesn't, it'll sound great too, but this is just like, again, the concept and the lyrics. I feel like this could just stand as a piano ballad. Oh my God, a savior complex. This man's got a savior complex. Throw him away. You convinced me it was all in my mind. And now I'm thinking 2 + 2 = 5. Even just that line alone, like she keeps building on it, but that line alone is like, everyone knows. A 4-year-old knows 2 + 2 = 4. And when you meet someone who is capable of getting you to doubt yourself in the littlest situations, that's such a scary situation to be in. And that lyric encapsulates that idea that she's getting across perfectly, where this person could make her doubt anything. And I love that she also said, I'm the love of your life. It's not the other way around. He hasn't convinced her that he's the love of her life, because I think he knows that she doesn't have to believe that to stick around. He's already manipulated her enough. And it's at the point where as long as she thinks she's the love of his life, she'll want to people please and stick around for him. And that's diabolical. And then all of these things that he's making her doubt makes her also think, well, if all this is possible, then maybe changing him is. And that's a scary path to go down, changing someone, thinking you can change someone. And then it all wrapping up into love is never logical, because you want to scream at her through these lyrics like, no, of course not. Of course 2 + 2 = 4. What are you thinking? But, you know, she says it, you know, you can't help it. Love is never logical. Here we go. Keep going.
Sky is green, the grass is red. You mean all those words you said. I'm sure that girl is really your friend. Problems are all solvable. Loving every argument you held over my head. Brought up the girls you could have instead.
Oh.
Said I was too young. take a joke, can't get you off. Why do we do this? I look so stupid thinking 2 plus 2 equals 5. Logical, logical, love is never logical. I know I'm half responsible, and that makes me feel horrible. Oh, I know I could have stopped it all. God, why didn't I stop it all?
Oh my goodness. Man, fuck that guy. What the It's the self-doubt that continues to shine through. After she says things like, arguments you held over my head brought up the girls you could have instead, said I was too young, I was too soft, can't take a joke, can't get you off. That, all of that, then being followed up by like her singing, oh, I'm getting emotional, okay. Her following all that up, like all those terrible things up with things like, well, it was half me and I feel so stupid. Like, how didn't I see this? Like, it's just like, girl, that's what manipulators do. It's what manipulators do. Of course, we don't know the situation, but based off the story in the song, it's just like, I want to be like, no, girl, it's not you at all. It's this piece of shit guy. I loved that one, and I will be crying to it continuously. Oh, the regret at the end that shines through too. God, why didn't I stop it all? Girl, it's not your fault. Next up, oh Jesus. Next up is Get Him Back. I hope we're not talking about this man.
1, 2, 3. Wait, is this the song with the drums?
I met a guy in the summer and I left him in the spring. He argued with me about everything. He had an ego and a temper and a wandering eye. He said he's 6'2", and I'm like, dude, nice try. But he was so much fun, and when he said something wrong, he just fly me to France. So I miss him some nights when I'm feeling depressed. Till I remember every time he made a pass on my friend.
Dude. Thank God, because it starts out like the beginning of the song. It's clear that we might be talking about Mr. Logical. I was like, get him back, because when I heard get him back, I was like, oh shoot, we're gonna like try to get him back, like get back with him. But no, we're trying to get some revenge. And this is a much more fun concept following up the last song, because I'm ready for some revenge after hearing Logical. Also, again, the vocal effect, the way her talk singing voice is so good, and I'm so happy she's using it so much more in this album because it's so fun. Hold on, let me read these lyrics of the chorus. Okay, I want to get him back. I want to make him really jealous. Want to make him feel bad. Yeah, so like get back at him for what he did. Okay, I want to get him back because then again, I really miss him and it makes me real sad. What do you mean get him back? Is she saying it both ways? Like she wants to get him back as in get back at him, but then also get back with him because she also... What's happening? This song is messy.
I write him all these letters and I throw them in the trash because I miss the way he kisses and the way he made me laugh. Yeah, I pour my little heart out, but as I'm hitting send, I picture all the faces of my disappointed friends.
Good friends.
Everyone knew all of the shit that he do, but I am my father's daughter, so maybe I could fix it.
The way she delivers that line, it's like she knows it's ridiculous, but maybe. And isn't her dad like a therapist or something?
His car. I wanna make him lunch.
Oh,
Break his heart. And be the one to stitch it.
so messy, so messy.
Kiss his face with an uppercut.
There we go.
I wanna meet his mom to get him back, just to tell her son sucks. Make him lunch.
Oh, I love this.
Stitch it right back up. I wanna kiss his face with an uppercut. I wanna meet his mom and tell her son sucks. Yeah. I wanna get him back. I get him.
She knows it. I'll get him. Ooh. I need to hear that again. So fun. She sounds insane, and I love it.
I got him good. I got him really good.
Oh, no, it's fun because like this song sounds messy, but it's like makes sense because he made her brain a mess. Like he was fucked with her brain so hard that she didn't understand her own emotions. And the playful like, what am I gonna do to him? How am I gonna get him back? Is just as messy as like what he did to her. So she like wants to screw up his brain like he screwed up hers. You know what I mean? Like not know what this line is perfect. He's gonna love me and hate me at the same time. Like that is how she felt, I think, toward him. So she's like, I want to do all of the terrible and nice things to him to really fuck with his brain and make him feel how I did. And that is the true definition of get him back in her eyes for this man. And it makes perfect sense and I love it. Next up is track 8, my claimed song, Love is Embarrassing. I have no idea what to expect. It's another E song. Piano, guitar, or straight rock. Drums. Oh.
Told my friends you were the one after I'd known you like a month.
Hold on. Girl, you're so out of pocket for that. You told them he was the one after knowing him for a month. You know what? It happens to the best of us. Do you know what the beginning of this song reminds me of? Looking out a dirty old window. We're the kids of America. Whoa. I don't know why. The production or something about it made me think of that song. Okay, let's keep going.
Then you kiss some girl from high school. And now it don't need to think God loves fucking and embarrassing. First some weird second string loser who's not worth mentioning. My God, love's embarrassing as hell.
Do you know what? How does she? You would think that every relatable concept in the world has already been sung about. How is she doing this? No, that's the worst part is when you're like in the love haze and it's frustrating like being in it and the back and forth in your mind and your friends being like, girl, it's not him. Let's not pretend that he's the one. But you're like, no, it is. I love him. But then when you get out of the haze and you look back at it and then you have to be like, oh, I did all that for him, for that man. That's embarrassing. Like everyone can relate.
And I consoled you while you cried over your ex-girlfriend's new guy. My God, how could I be so stupid? You found a new version of me, and I damn near started World War III. Jesus, what was I even doing? 'Cause now
No, I'm not even over what you just said before. He did what? He cried to you over his ex-girlfriend's new guy?
God loves fucking embarrassing. Just watch as I crucify.
Yeah, she's ruining herself. For what? For you?
For some weird second string loser who's not worth mentioning. I give up. I give up everything I place my bets in. It's not worth anything.
Ah.
I give up. But I keep coming back for more.
Loved that.
God loves fucking embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
I give up. I give up everything.
Ah.
I'm wedding on my wedding with some guy I'll never marry, and I'm giving up. But I keep coming back for more.
So she's why is how, she's so good. Like I think I already love this album more than Sour, and we all died for Sour. Sour was great, but Guts, I give up everything. I give up everything. The way she sings that is so fun. I'm planning out my wedding with some guy I'm never marrying. Girl, yeah, we get it. But then it's so sad that it ends like that, but I keep coming back for more. Ugh. I am happy with my acclaimed song. It might be top 3 of the album for me, actually. It might be. I can't go crazy and say it's my favorite because I can't. Ballad of a Homeschool Girl, though, and Logical and Get Him Back, and the whole album. I can't go saying crazy things. I don't know yet. How am I gonna make a ranking for this album? Jesus. Next up is track 10, The Grudge.
If nightmares each week about that Friday in May, one phone call from you and my entire world was changed. And I doubt you ever think about the damage that you did, but I hold on to every detail like my life depends on it.
Right.
Now I hear your voice every time that I think I'm not enough, and I try to be tough. It takes strength to forgive, but I don't feel strong.
I like want to have a talk with all of these boys' mothers just to tell them their son sucks. I doubt you ever think about the damage that you did, but I hold on to every detail like my life depends on it. That's the worst feeling. Like when you know something is just hit you so hard, and the reason the person who's responsible for that hit could care less. They don't even probably realize that they left a mark. Like, it's so frustrating. It makes you feel crazy and makes you feel weak. Like, how come it's affecting me, but they're just completely fine out there? It messes with your mind. It messes with your mind. People have been messing with this girl's mind, and it makes me sad. But she seems very self-aware about it at the same time, at least in hindsight, which is really nice.
Arguments that I've won against you in my head, in the shower, in the car, and in the mirror before bed. Yeah, I'm so tough when I'm alone. You must be insecure, you must be so unhappy, not knowing my heart. Hurt people, and we both drew blood, but man, those cuts were never equal, and I try to be
so good. The arguments that I've won against you in my head, in the shower, in the car, and in the mirror before bed. It's a beautiful way to just like paint the picture of the fact that she is constantly reliving these arguments with you, which like every second of the day, like saying in the shower, in the car, in the mirror before bed, like repeating all these different places. It's kind of like throughout my entire day, I'm just thinking about the things I should have said or the arguments that we had. So then it builds this picture up of like, it was so many arguments, constant arguments that she was constantly holding a grudge over later on. And the fact that she says, I fantasize about a time you're a little fucking sorry, like it's a fantasy. Someone apologizing should never be a fantasy. And then her acknowledging that, you know, I understand that you hurt people. You probably are acting this way because of something you've been through, or you're struggling in some sort of way. But then she points out at the same time, comes back around and says, but the cuts were never equal.
How could anybody do the things you did so easily? And I say I don't care. Do you think I deserved it all? Build me up to watch me fall. You have everything and you still want more. I try to be tough, try to be mean. I know you don't care. I guess that's fine.
It's not though, it sucks.
I can't let it go. I've tried for so long. It takes strength to forgive, but
ending like that, like she doesn't know where. That's such a smart way to end the song, where she goes, it takes strength to forgive, I'm not sure I'm quite there yet, and then repeats, it takes strength to forgive, but. And I think it's like, it's saying to us, like the audience listening to this song, like we don't know what she's going to think of this person at the end of it all when she processes it all. We don't know if she's ever going to forgive or if she's forgiven already. Like we don't know. And I think in the moment when she wrote this song, that ending is giving the feeling like that she didn't know either. And I think it's a really clever way to end the song. What more can I say other than fuck these guys? Track 11, Pretty Isn't Pretty. Quite a switch up from the last vibe.
got a bunch of makeup, trying to cover up my face. I started to skip lunch, stopped eating cake on birthdays. And pretty isn't pretty enough. What do you do? Could try every lipstick in every shade, but it always be the same. 'Cause pretty isn't pretty enough anyway.
She just gets it. And it's crazy because you always think like when beautiful, like Olivia Rodrigo is like such an it girl of our time. Like she's so beautiful. And I think a lot of people think that a lot of like it girls and these beautiful people that release songs talking about these types of insecurities, you just, in your mind, you're like, how? Like you're Olivia Rodrigo or you're insert famous person here who we think is the most beautiful person ever. But she kind of counteracts that line of thinking on our side by saying pretty isn't pretty enough anyway. So she's like acknowledging pretty, like that she feels pretty, but she'll never feel pretty enough. And it's all up here, you know? I think everyone, again, feels like that, especially when you're like dolling yourself up and you're like, I look fine, I look okay. But you'll never feel like it's enough. It's just... Yeah. Oh my God. These lyrics. You can win the battle, but you'll never win the war. It's like the battle. So if you're looking at yourself and your body and your self-image as the war that you want to like conquer, and it's impossible. And so you pick out these little things about you, like, oh, I hate my hair, I hate my skin, I hate my eyes, I hate my nose. You can pick out those little battles, but like at the end of the day, you can fixate on something and try to fix it, but you're still gonna feel like you haven't won the war. That's such an amazing analogy for something, for self-image.
And I try to ignore it, but it's everything I see. It's on the poster on the wall, it's in the shitty magazine. That's in my phone, it's in my head, it's in the boys I bring to bed. It's all around, it's all the time. I don't know why I even try.
That's really, that sucks, because here, like the poster on the wall, the shitty magazines, on my phone, in my head, up to that point, it's like, yeah, all of these like crazy ideas, like, what do we call it? Conventionally attractive, airbrushed people. There's a level of understanding these days that that kind of stuff isn't real and that it's in your head. And then she goes on to say, it's in my head. But then this line, it's in the boys I bring in bed. Like, that's what makes me scared. Like, because that's like real. That's a real interaction. That's you being vulnerable with somebody and them like not making you feel comfortable, like you still feeling insecure with that person in your bed is so sad. You think everybody's keeping it up. Everyone's thinking the same thing. Yep. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Ooh, a fade out. You know what? Her saying, no, it'll never change. Honestly, I feel cynical in that way too. I think that there's no combating conventional beauty standards, like these impossible standards that have culminated in society. I don't think we're ever going to beat them out. I don't think it's ever going to be a fight that we win. I won't stop trying. But I think it's an insecurity that's been like nestled into every baby at birth at this point. That's what it feels like. Like, it's so sad and it sucks, but I feel like it's just like beyond repair what society has done with beauty standards. It just is insane. And unfortunately, I agree. I don't think it'll ever change. Changing your views on yourself, I think, is the hardest part, though. Maybe one of the most important. We are down to the final track of the album, Teenage Dream, which I said I'm very curious to hear because you say Teenage Dream, we think Katy Perry, right? Let's see how this album ends. It feels like we're like in a fancy cocktail bar restaurant.
When am I gonna stop being wise beyond my years and just start being wise? When am I gonna stop being a pretty young thing that guys?
The number keeps going down.
I'll blow out the candles, happy birthday to me. Got your whole life ahead of you, you're only 19. But I fear that they already got all the best parts of me.
Oh, you already feel used up.
Sorry that I couldn't always be your teenage dream.
Oh no. Oh, that line alone is gonna make me cry. That's so sad. That's so sad. No. Don't do that. Like, I hate that that number keeps going down. Like, the number of, like, the ideal age to be at and, like, the golden age, like, the time of your life, like, the it girl age. I hate that it all is about age. It just sucks that she's so aware of that, and she's 19 still. She's like still technically a teenager, or was at the time of this song. She already feels like her clock is ticking in terms of like being who she thinks people want her to be. And honestly, there might be some truth to that. Like, people just idealize young success and just youth in general so much that it makes you feel like shit when you grow up, when it should be something that's celebrated. Like, why am I so emotional about this? Oh, I was not expecting this song to go this way.
And will everyone have every reason to call on my bluff? And when are all my excuses of learning my lessons gonna start to feel sad.
You see, that's a smart thing to say too. Like, there's no age at which you should stop learning and understand and know everything and be perfect. Like, it's okay to learn a lesson at 35. I don't know. Like, it's fine. The only thing I think that's frowned upon is making mistakes, the same mistake over and over, like careless mistakes being made. But it's okay to like learn new things at any age. And that's another thing I think that has a bit of a stigma to it. Like you hit like 20, 25 and you're expected to understand. They say like your brain's fully function at 25. You better know everything. You better never make a fool of yourself. You better act perfect all the time now. You're an adult. No more messing around.
Will I spend all the rest of my years wishing I could go back? I'll blow out the candles. Happy
I love this melody.
birthday to me. But I fear that they already got all the best parts of me.
Oh my god, this being a closing track is insane.
They all say that it gets better the more you grow. Yeah, they all say that it gets better, but what if I don't? They all say that it gets better the more you grow. Yeah, they all say that it gets better, but what if I don't? They all say that it
These are the lyrics we're gonna go out on. It's just so sad that this is a song that's being sung. Like, it's just sad. I don't know who that was at the end. It sounded like she said hi Sophie or something like that. I have no idea who that little child was, but oh my god. And then hearing like a little kid's voice at the end, like you just want to protect them at all costs. This was the perfect closing track, I think. I think this is actually like no joke, this might be the best closing track of any album I've ever heard. Like the fact that she knows this is going to be her last album release as a teenager. Like, and she's already apologizing for not being anyone's teenage dream after this is so sad. And saying like, they all say it gets better, but what if I don't? Like, she doesn't even care if her life gets better. She's like, okay, that would be great, but like, what if I'm not good enough for you anymore? What if I don't get better for you? And her caring more about what the public think than like her own self-happiness is really sad. Like, she just wants to, she seems like such a people pleaser, and I relate so hard. This album was actually more than I expected it to be. Like, I don't know how this album managed to have so many different sounds within it, but then still sound very cohesive. These two singles leading up to the release of the album just didn't prepare me at all for what I was about to go into. Like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever felt so angry and so protective of someone. I don't know if that I've ever felt that before as intensely as I do with this. She painted the pictures so well, and I love that she has this mix of talking like she's one of your best friends, like talking like you're on a FaceTime, but then mixing that with poetry at the same time. The stories that she told in this album were heartbreaking, but she managed to make so many of the songs still fun and relatable at the same time. I honestly think this is crazy to say off of a first listen, because I don't usually like love albums right away like this, but I think this is better than Sour. I don't know, Sour was such a huge album and it's so hard to outdo, and it's already outdone to me off of a first listen. Like, not to leave Sour in the dust, like it's still a great album, but this is something else. Like, I'm never gonna get over this last track. I'm never gonna get over it. You know what I have to do is put together a ranking based off of this first listen, which how in the world am I supposed to do that? But I guess here you go. This is my ranking for Guts. Please remember this is a first listen. I would love to hear your rankings down below as well. I just want to know what your guys' first reaction to this album was. I want to know which ones you connected to the most. Do you have favorite lyrics? Like, are there lyrics that honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to get over this lyric. I'm sorry, I couldn't always be your teenage dream. Girl, don't apologize. What in the world? You know what? no one cares what I have to say. Let's go find AJ's video because I'm ready for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you've made it to the end here, and hopefully I will see you guys next time. Next time, as far as music reactions go, we're going to be back with Lana. I think Lust for Life is next, so stick around for that if you want to see it. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you in a different one. Maybe I'll never see you again. That would suck. But thanks for watching.